Have you ever wanted your own TV show? Have you dreamed of showcasing your talent for the world to see? Well, now you can. Have your own TV show. You can have your own 30-minute show. Not only will you be seen in the Detroit area, but you can be viewed worldwide. Be seen on WHPR Detroit Live, Comcast Cable Channel 91, on the web at TV33WHPR.com, with the TV33 app, on Roku, Google TV, Apple TV, and on Amazon Fire TV. Act now. Time slots are limited. Sign up today and get a free replay with the purchase of your time slot. For more information, call 313-868-6612. Visit our studios and receive a free TV interview to promote your business, church, or organization by appointment only.
There's a new financial empowerment center located in the Wayne County Treasurer's Office on the 5th floor of 400 Monroe in Detroit.
If you or someone you know needs help with their finances, budgeting, and making monthly payments, the Detroit Financial Empowerment Center can help.
Wayne Metro Community Action Agency has counselors ready to provide free one-on-one counseling to help you address issues related to utility bills, taxes, and other financial matters. We can also help you improve your credit score.
Well, good morning. This is March. This is the 5th of March, if I'm not mistaken, and it's Friday. And if you are looking for the weekly broadcast of Ask Welfare Rights, you've been successful. I'm saying we, you'll hear we a lot today because I'm generally here with my colleague, Marion Kramer. But Marion's a little bit under the weather today, so she's going to call us and express an opinion or two about some things that she has on her mind. This is the weekly broadcast of Ask Welfare Rights. The call-in numbers are at the bottom of your screen, 868-4336, 868-0351, or 868-0342. If you'd like to call us with any information or anything along the lines of sharing and projecting some information, you could do that. We've got one or two, let's see here, I don't want to do that. We've got a couple of folks that may be calling in this morning and that we've invited to raise a couple of issues that seem to be of significance. And why don't we take this first call right now so we can introduce this subject. And good morning, caller. This is the Ask Welfare Rights broadcast, and you are on the air. Good morning, caller. Who is this? Caller, you on the air?
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me fine?
I can. And good morning. How are you this morning?
Good, and yourself?
I'm well. All righty. What are we talking about this morning?
Well, what we're talking about this morning is the huge cannabis industry that's moving within our communities.
And let's make sure that everybody heard you when you said cannabis. So we're talking about marijuana, okay?
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Okay, and the issue that we're starting to have at hand is this industry is looking to be $3 billion in the state of Michigan. When the damage has been caused in our communities, so we're trying to get all the community organizations to get together as well as the neighborhood groups to make sure we have a fair share of community share and community benefits coming from this industry.
Okay, now when you say fair share, and you gave us an amount of money that is a lot of dollars that's being talked about. So when you say getting our fair share, let's break that conversation down to our listeners. Now, what exactly do you mean when you say fair share?
Fair share, we're not just talking about the the ownership, because right now over half of all the dispensaries in the city of Detroit are pretty much on 8 Mile. They're not even hiring from within our community that has been greatly affected by the so-called war on drugs. So we want to make sure that we're not just consumers of this industry. We want to make sure that we are owners. We want to make sure that we're getting a job. We want to make sure that best programs are being created for our youth and for our seniors. So that's what I mean when I say community share, community benefits from this industry. We need to ask our leaders to put this on hold to see how much money has come out of our communities since 2008 up until this point. And then we also need to see how much would the recreational industry be bringing from our communities from this point on into the future, so we can come up with a better idea of how many jobs and how many opportunities that we can seriously create for our communities.
Okay, all right. I'm going to put you on hold for a second. Don't hang up. Hold on. Good morning, caller. This is the Ask Welfare Rights broadcast. You are on the air. Caller, you're on the air. Caller, you there? Okay. Now, this issue of ownership, this issue of getting our fair share has been discussed off and on for a period of time. And I think what might be new, may not be new, is a discussion that says, let us identify who gets the benefit of having dispensaries that sell marijuana. And we're not talking about medical marijuana. This time we're talking about for recreational use. Now, there is a body of opinion that says this is a tragedy on its way, and that for a conversation to go forward that talks about, well, community people, black people, Hispanic people, whoever we're talking about, need to have access to some of the ownership, but also some of the proceeds. Generally, what happens is that on the second part of that, the proceeds, we are boxed out of that conversation. And there are decisions made on our behalf. And when I say our, I'm talking about the residents of a city. And a percentage of that, of those dollars go to the schools, a percentage goes to fixing the roads, a percentage goes to whatever else. But generally, residents are not asked, what is it, if there's going to be this industry and millions of dollars are going to be generated, what is it that the community would like to see these funds used for? Comment on that, caller.
And that's what I feel that the community need to start having these discussions right now, because we have seen the devastation. We know what the devastation looked like. Yeah. What kind of programs really need to be funded? What kind of programs seriously need to be created? Like I say, we have hundreds of millions of dollars that have went to downtown and tax breaks. And what do we see in return? A new Wayne County jail that's over $500 million when District 4 doesn't even have a rec center for the kids.
Yeah. Understood. Caller, hold on just a second. Hold on. Good morning. This is Ask Welfare Rights. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi.
Good morning.
This is Misty from Black Cannabis Access.
Good morning, Miss Misty. I was kind of waiting on your call. Are you able to hear the discussion that's going on so far?
Yes, I have.
Okay, I'm going to put you on hold for just a moment, and then I'm going to come back to you because I'm going to get your point of view as well. Can you hold on just a moment?
I sure can.
Okay. Okay, so Marion and I, we discussed this yesterday and a couple of other days along since I talked with you, caller. And we're really trying to dive into something now. We know of some elected officials that dived into this project or a similar project where they are raising the issue of if this used to be an illegal drug, now it's a legal drug, And what we want to do is to own a couple of these marijuana shops. And that way, black people will have access to some of this. And it won't just be concentrated in the hands of this group and this group. And I have a fear. I work at a school social worker, and kids tell me all the time, "Well, Miss Taylor, marijuana is legal now." And I say to them, "Okay, that's fine." And then I show the memo that I got from Chrysler or Ford or General Motors that says if you test positive for drugs while you're going through the application process of being hired, you will not only not get hired, but you won't even be able to submit an application for employment ever again. And who knows how long ever is, but that's always a fear. And Marion uses this phrase about people looking like zombies, walking up and down the street and eyes unfocused and not able to go to work because they're mellow and like to listen to music 5, 6, 7 hours every day, but those high-paying jobs and whatnot are not available to them. So, caller, what would you think in terms of putting the community together? And I hear what you're saying. Seems to be a push to open up cannabis dispensaries in multiple places around the city of Detroit. And your discussion is what is it that the community can benefit from this? So, as opposed to putting this on a fast track, maybe we should slow this down so that the community has an opportunity to weigh in and have some discussions about if this is coming, how could the benefits be used? Am I on the right track in expressing your point of view?
Yes, you are. And pretty much what you're saying is, okay, you have these crisis jobs, which are good jobs. But in Colorado, the cannabis industry created like over 18,000 jobs, starting at $15 an hour and over, above. So some of those people that did not get the crisis job, they can be getting these jobs in the cannabis industry starting at 15 and up. They don't have to worry about the drug test because that's pretty much going to be out the window anyway once the federal government go ahead and remove Schedule 1.
Okay. Caller, hold on just a moment. Hold on. All right, ma'am. Sorry to keep you so late. Let's hear what your thinking is about this particular subject.
So I'm founder of Black Cannabis Access, and we specifically, our organization, to fill the gaps to help Black people move forward in the cannabis industry to gain ownership, equity. That's where we need to be in this industry, specifically in the city of Detroit. We must be in an ownership position and create the foundation of the cannabis industry in the city of Detroit, not other groups. You definitely have some valid points. However, the industry is definitely evolving. It's evolving without us, and although and off of our backs. So that's why it's definitely important that we have the education surrounding this conversation because it didn't start off as being illegal. This plant started off being a medicine for quite a while, and because of propaganda and and black people being used as propaganda, it has turned into an illegal and scary and fearful and been called a drug. When in the beginning it was not so.
Now, are you saying that as of today's date and most recently, marijuana is not a drug?
That is going to be, we'll probably can debate that all day long, but it truly is a plant first, and it is used for lots of medicinal purposes. And as an urban community, we have not researched why cannabis is used so heavily in our communities. And a lot of it has to do with our traumatic past and our traumatic experience every day, just being Black in America and having to deal with racism and poverty and health disparities. And so cannabis has been used as a medicine to help with urban, which all of those can evolve into urban PTSD. That's another conversation that we can definitely have. But I am a strong proponent of really doing research surrounding urban PTSD. Research has already been done in regards to veteran PTSD and how cannabis has affected and has helped veterans from suicide and opioid addiction. And urban PTSD has also, because the research isn't there, the education isn't there, we are not paying attention to how and why cannabis helps with urban PTSD, because nobody is even diagnosing themselves, or even there isn't anyone diagnosing us with having urban PTSD, which we all are suffering on some level of one way or the other.
Let me ask you to comment also, and I'm listening very carefully to what you're saying. All right.
Okay.
My understanding, and it's limited. I haven't done tons and tons of research, but I have done some. And cannabis, marijuana, alcohol, wine, cocaine, heroin, all of these drugs, different classifications of drugs. These are all can be self-medicating entities. So my fear is always the same. Folks that smoke weed, and I know people that have been weed smokers, including Judge Greg Mathis, but I know folks that have landed on the drug spectrum. Folks that smoke weed are oftentimes end up with debilitating capacity. What I mean is driving after they've smoked weed and not focused and not careful and not attentive. And, same thing if you have 2 or 3 cocktails, 2 or 3 drinks, and you're out on the road and you're not as attentive and you're not paying attention, and accidents are happening. All of those kinds of things are going on, and I'd like you to comment on the fear factor of it. Sounds like what our conversation is that is if we could get money, if the African American community that is certainly in Detroit and urban area is affected by smoking weed, and now here comes the recreational weed, the concept around the violence is taken way down. I got that. All right. You don't have to shoot each other because you can purchase this at the corner. But I always worry about a program that says what we should do is engage in a business a relationship with a drug because it helps people of color. And that's my fear. Now, what would you say about my fear?
Am I still on?
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay. So
Now, I'm afraid of this now. So how would you address my fear? So you didn't expect me to
fear.
ask that. I know. You didn't expect me to
No,
ask that
well,
question.
not really. No.
No,
I
all
mean, I
right.
can answer that question.
Okay.
I can just. It's so many angles, because fear is definitely in our culture of us moving forward progressively, whether it's economically, whether it's health disparities, whether there's, all types of, it's fear. And I'm going to give you a personal story in regards to fear.
Okay.
My father passed of cancer my senior year in college, and he's a Jamaican. So people think that all Jamaicans smoke cannabis and they are with cannabis and for cannabis, but he was not. When he passed, I was not in the cannabis industry. Didn't smoke it or anything like that. As the cannabis industry evolved and I got into it, I realized, I said, wait a minute. This medicine could have helped my father. He could still either be here now, possibly, or he could have had a happier or a transition. But he was not afforded that choice because of propaganda and fear. And I'm watching this happen too often I get my telephone calls all the time in regards to I have an uncle, I have a mom, I have a dad that is has cancer or have these different ailments and are fearful of trying or taking cannabis, which there are many um, uh, stories in relationship to how cannabis is helping with cancer and different ailments.
All right, now I'm not talking.
There's
You're not
nothing
talking
anything
about.
around.
But wait, now you're not talking about medical marijuana, because I
There's no
support that.
difference. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry to interrupt you, but there's no difference.
Yeah, yeah, it
The
is a
plant is
difference.
grown.
It's a
There is
difference.
no difference
And
between
let
a
me tell you
cannabis
what the difference
medical
is,
plant.
and I want you to educate me now. There is a difference.
Okay.
And the difference is, here's the marijuana. It's the same marijuana. And folks are prescribed it. Cancer patients, skin cancer patients, individuals who have brain injuries and whatnot, and they get a prescription for cannabis. But my fear is specifically around something called recreational use. So we're not talking about anybody who's sick. Your dad should have been given every opportunity to protect him from pain. Should have. And it was wrong that that didn't happen. But I'm talking about recreational cannabis that you could buy up on the corner. You're not sick, you don't have any ailments, any of that. You're buying this
But
recreational marijuana so that you can relax. That's my fear.
re- so that's exactly. But they're relaxing for a reason. All of this is all for a reason. Although we are not saying for urban PTS, for instance, we're using it to relax. That is a symptom of urban PTSD, is anxiousness and anxiety, depression. So although I'm not diagnosed for being anxious, but I'm using cannabis because I know it takes the edge off and it makes me calm. And so the stigma surrounding cannabis is that, hey, we're just using it as recreational. We're just partying all the time. When actually that's not what's happening. It's just no research or education is surrounding the reasons why people are feeling this relief. And it should be okay that I can go here and get the edge and take the edge off instead of going to go get that drink that we know are killing people. And then we know that opioids are killing people. There's tons of data on deaths surrounding opioids and alcohol, but no one has died from the actual cannabis plant. And further, the fear is also surrounding in just the name in itself. Weed and marijuana. You'll often hear me talk about cannabis, 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 but marijuana and weed is associated with being bad. Even how marijuana even came into the language is because of propaganda surrounding. It comes from the Mexican. It's a Mexican word that they created to instruct fear and to say, hey, and that goes into a Reefer Madness, which is a movie that everybody should watch.
I've seen
and it tells of how when you are high, that black men and Mexicans will go rape white women for smoking marijuana.
I've seen the movie. Yeah. Yeah. All right, caller, hold on. All right, yeah. Caller, have you heard the exchange just now in terms of a discussion about the pros and cons of marijuana?
Yes, I have.
Okay, what would you want us to know about this? And if we, viewers and listeners wanted to call to follow up, if you have any information you could share there, and give us some more specifics if you're able to, in terms of politically, what might be coming up that Detroiters need to know about now ahead of time so that we can start to prepare ourselves for some kind of discussion that's coming up pretty quick.
Well, right now, the city of Detroit is pretty much gearing up to start to issue license for recreational sales of cannabis in our community. So that's going to be coming, I believe, maybe this summer. But the caller before me, Misty, she's like the expert. She knows like all the dates and everything like that.
Okay.
But we seriously must educate our community. If it's going to be in our community and it's going to take hundreds of millions of dollars up out of our community, after all of the damage, all of the jail time, all of the lives have been lost, I don't see where no community leader should feel like we should not have this discussion if it's going to be in our community. The cannabis industry is looking to bring in over $200 billion in under 10 years, and over 40,000 people are still locked up, mainly black. This discussion must be had, and that's why I wanted to reach out to organizations like yours, Ms. Taylor,
Okay.
and Mitzi, and we need to bring this together and have a serious conversation, because not even the politicians are really educated on it, because this industry is evolving and it's moving.
And I know that when we first talked about this the other day, the conversation that at that time was that mayoral candidates that are thinking about being involved in an election, part of their dissertation needs to be about an opinion, or at least what it is that they know about recreational marijuana. Is that still your position?
Absolutely, absolutely. Every candidate that's running for mayor, city council, we need to know all of their thoughts, all of their opinions. It's only mandatory that we have, because I know for myself, they're not really educated on it.
Okay. All right. Well, caller, I'm going to ask you to make your final statement here. Then I'll go back to this young lady and have her to make her final statement. Now, are there any events coming up or phone numbers or anything like that? Because this is not the first time I'm going to have you on this broadcast. So we could talk about this 2 or 3 more times along the way. So what would be your final thinking here that you could share with our viewers?
My final thinking is I would like for the Michigan Welfare Rights Organization, organizations like Black Cannabis Access, Rise Detroit, all of us come together and have a serious conversation.
Community education.
We cannot, community education, we cannot afford another great embarrassment of like billions and billions of our dollars just escaping up out of our community, and we're getting away when we're just getting handed turkeys and backpacks.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot have that when our people have died behind this plant. Our people have been locked up and families have been destroyed behind this plant. When the plant is innocent, it was all used as propaganda for mass incarceration. And the state has a role to play as well, because they went off into these agreements with the private prisons.
Okay. All right. We'll be having this discussion again fairly soon. Glad
Yes.
you were able to check in with us this morning, so at least we can open the door for this kind of conversation. And I'm very grateful that you had a number of very important comments and points to share. I'll be in touch with you about a second opportunity to raise this discussion. Okay.
Thanks a lot.
And thank you so very much. All right.
Okay.
All right, ma'am, I'm going to ask you because you've been identified as the expert. So I'll ask you to make your final statement in terms of what it is that the viewers, and I know I've got everybody on earth on hold here. So I'll ask you to make your final statement, and I hope that you will be able to join the broadcast again sometime fairly soon. So what's your final thinking about this? What do you want us to go away with?
I want you all to go away with the fact that it's here, and we have to be aware that it is here and who are going to be controlling the cannabis industry, who's controlling it now and who will be controlling it in the future. We can't afford, it's 2021, we can't afford to miss out on this great economic opportunity that brings health benefits as well. And I don't want to always want you all to think that it's all about the money. It's not all about the money. But when we're in control and we're in ownership position, and this is what this industry is offering, we must take advantage of that opportunity. I can't no longer be consumers. We have to be producers. This industry allows us to be producers, manufacturers, and distributors. And what that means is now we are able to control the supply chain. It's just like that we don't have any. They're controlling our food supply right now in the city of Detroit. Right? Mm-hmm. We're not growing our own food. We are subjected to whatever they put on their shelves with the dates that are no good and meats that are no good. Same thing. We got to control our supply chain in this industry, and we'll be able to do the research and development on this plant of how it can help with different ailments and different situations within our community. But we got to be in that position. So I'm offering you all to please, I do Sundays, come to my Sunday meetings, overall meetings on Zoom, and I go over all of this stuff. It's a safe place to ask questions. We need this engagement. This engagement is way past due. And I will lend myself to you anytime you will want to have these conversations. I have a PowerPoint, Zoom situation, whatever you need, I'm there. Because this conversation must be had and is well overdue. And I thank you for the opportunity to let us speak today.
Okay.
And
all right.
Very grateful.
And I'm grateful as well. We need to know things. There are lots of things that we have just passing knowledge about, and we're not in any way in depth. Is there a phone number or a email number or anything like that you might want to share?
Yes, thank you. BlackCannabisAccess.com.
Okay, now wait, now hold on. Now, you know, you young people talk very fast. All right, that's Black Cannabis. What's the next word?
Access.
Access. Okay, then what's after that?
.com.
.com. Okay.
Yes.
All right, BlackCannabisAccess.com. I'm going to invite you back, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this particular industry and what your vision is. Thank you so very much for sharing your thoughts today. And again, we'll have you back, okay?
Okay.
And thank you so much. All right.
Okay.
Caller, you've been so patient. You're on the air. This is Ask Welfare Rights. Caller, you there?
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air, caller.
Hi. Well, I was calling you to let you know that I have your program on Comcast TV, and I can't hear you. Can't hear the speaker and can't hear you.
My goodness. The engineer says he hears you, and he's got his magic wand, and he's going in the booth, and he's going to see if he can figure something out.
Okay,
Thank you for letting us know, okay?
Okay.
All right, very good. 868-4336, 868-0351, 868-0342. This conversation about drugs, this conversation about marijuana, conversation about access to medicinal marijuana and selling it, a conversation about recreational marijuana and selling it. That's what we had these two very wonderful people on the air this morning to raise their concerns and raise their issues about why and how that should be a discussion that we have in the city of Detroit. And I absolutely agree with that. Benefits and whatnot oftentimes are, you know, I'm noticing, what is this? This gambling industry. Jamie Foxx is on TV every other hour. What am I saying? Every other minute, talking about the importance of gambling. And now you can gamble from home. You don't have to go to the Motor City Casino or the Greektown or MGM. You don't have to go there. You could just pull out your trusty telephone and you can do your gambling online. You could do your gambling right from the safety of your own home. And the monies that have been created so far, I heard something the other day about in the first 10 days of allowing online betting, online gambling, some $43 million was accumulated. I don't know that that's true, and maybe I don't even remember it correctly, but that's what I think I heard. $43 million accumulated in just the first 10 days. So there are folks that are gambling from home, folks that are on the telephone call this morning talking about we should be prepared and the community needs to have some input. And I raised both of those issues because with the new push for gambling, there again, somebody else made the decision about what percentage of the gambling assets should go here, what percentage should go there, how much does the city get, how much does the county get, how much does the state get, how much do schools get. We for sure need Gamblers Anonymous, and how much did they get. So, I think our callers, our wonderful guests this morning, were absolutely on point and talking about the community needs to get together. Deputy Amos and some of the other folks that are running for office, and folks that are not running for office, we need to pull something together, some kind of a virtual conversation, I guess, where we could talk about if this industry is going to be producing this level of assets, these kinds of millions and billions of dollars. We might need to weigh in. Take the might out. We need to weigh in to those conversations and talk about what is it that we think would be of greater assistance to Detroit, and perhaps include our sisters and brothers in Highland Park and in Hamtramck. And I say that because I'm sure those communities are just ripe with targets in terms of setting up marijuana dispensaries for recreational use in Highland Park, in Hamtramck, and certainly the Crown and the Jewel in Detroit. So, as usual, we have our work cut out for us. Work cut out for us. All right, 23 minutes left, 25 minutes left, something like that, in the program. And this is March, and this is International Women's Month, March. And this being the 5th of March, this is the first Friday that Walfare Rights has had to bring up any information that we wanted to share. I keep saying we because Marion is always here, even if it's only in spirit. All right, and last week I mentioned a name, and I'm going to bring it up again today. And let me get the details here. And that'll be a woman. She passed on now. Wonderful young woman, and her name was Bella Marshall. Some of you might remember Bella Marshall. She passed away in 2012. And she was in her early 60s when she passed away. Beautiful young woman. And she was married. This is International Women's Month, and I'm going to concentrate on Bella. But she was married to a very famous guy. And Marion and I knew them both. She's married to Don Barton. Now, Don Barton was the first person that had cable, cable TV in Detroit, and it was Barton Cable. I think it was up on Linden, same place. And Don Barton mapped out and put the circulars together and whatnot, and created a hub, an industry of bringing cable TV, certainly to Detroit. And I don't know how far out it went, but it was Barton Cable. And for years, that's what it was. And I can still remember that if you put an old-fashioned wire coat hanger on the back of your TV and put it in the basement, after you didn't pay your cable bill, your cable would come back on. And I remember that. And I knew that Don knew that because people were having all kinds of strange connections, all kinds of metal coat hangers all over the place. And I'm sure that Don Barton was quite aware that here's a household that's using my cable, but they're a little bit behind on their cable bill. But to know Don Barton was to love Don Barton. He was a holler. But to know Bella Marshall, she was just a spectacular young woman, worked in the city of Detroit under Coleman Young for a number of years. She was a chief financial officer. Her brains were about accounting and keeping the books straight and making certain that there was no hanky-panky with the monies and whatnot. And from Detroit, she went to work with Ficano in the county of Wayne, and she took on a very similar position there. Managing the finances of Wayne County. And the way Marion and I knew her is that, those days, welfare rights always broke. We had to find somebody to help pay the rent. We have to go find somebody to help pay the phone bill, help pay the light bill. So I don't even remember how it was that we struck up a friendship, but we just fell in love with Bella Marshall right away. If you knew her, you know that every other word was a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, was a 7-letter word. And she was so professional, just beautiful physically, but beautiful in her heart. And very professional, had a way of communicating, a way of talking to folks. And I would see her at the grocery store, and people would be saying, "Oh, I didn't know you would be in here." And she would tell people, "What's wrong with you? I have to shop and eat. I'm a mother and a wife like everybody else." And never pretentious, always wonderful. When she turned 50 years of age, I still remember this. She had a birthday party down at the Rooster Tail, and that's quite a while ago. And Marion and I went, and all kind of security and whatnot. No, just anybody couldn't go up in the Rooster Tail. Had to go up the steps and whatnot. And the first thing you found was that Bella and Don had set up a food table that was specific to what was on that table. Now, what do I mean? The one table had nothing but hamburgers. Another table had only shrimp. A third table had only vegetables. A fourth table had only fruits. So all of these different tables and chocolate candies in between all of the tables. And this was the first time that I saw somebody had a full commercial grill. She had a grill up in the Rooster Tail, and a chef that was grilling salmon, perch, trout, whatever, and had fish laid out with ice on top of it. And all you needed to do was to go there and tell the chef which fish you wanted. He'd take it off, clean it off, fillet it, and cook it while you were standing there. And I thought, my goodness, I'd never seen anything like this before in my life. It was a fabulous party. And on the guest tables, there was, God knows how many people were there. But we filled up the Rooster Tail that day. And at every table, the table decoration in the middle had 2 or 3 45 records on it. Now, some of you still remember LPs, the big ones, 33 and a half. And some of you might still remember 45s, right? And Bella and whoever did the decorations had 2 or 3 45 actual records on top of the table decorations. And if you bent your head a couple times and look and see what it was, could have been Mary Wells. I've got 2 lovers and I ain't ashamed. Could have been whoever. But this was a Motown review concept. And the thing that, so many things stood out to me because I had never seen a party like that before. This thing was no holds barred. The music was fabulous. The drinks were out of this world. And there was a slide presentation, a video presentation made somewhere along the lines. And Don Barton talked about his wife, and he's up there hugging her and whatnot. She's all crying and misty-eyed, oh, Don, all that kind of stuff. She was a holler. And what he indicated is look at the screen, and he bought her a red, I want to say it was a Ferrari. I could be wrong because I don't know cars, but he bought her a red something, and it showed up on the video, and all he said was happy birthday. And he bought her a fireman red car. It was fabulous. Marion and I almost had to take a taxi cab home because every time you would drink a sip of your wine, Garcon would be standing over here, and you take a half a sip and put your glass down and look the other way, and Garcon was over there filling your glass back up again. So you were never at a debt or a loss of having whatever cocktail you were having at your table. So Bella Marshall, I've been to her house 2 or 3 times. Somebody out there in the WHPR family might remember those 2 African American women One of them's name was Mildred, and I cannot think of the other one. And she's a graduate at Marygrove from my school, and I can't think of her name. But they used to sing jazz and blues all around the city of Detroit. They're just fabulous. I bring it up because she had those two women. This is International Women's Month. She had those two women at her house for some other kind of party we were at and invited to it. She had them up on the landscape and they were singing. And, you know, we're talking about professional singers. So I bring her name up because, you know, she represents sort of the old school politician, hard hitting. The people need this kind of assistance. We're not going to let race or we're not going to let class come in and disturb what we've got going in the city of Detroit. And she was hell bent on that. We don't have just a couple of folks that are politicians like that today. I know that Anthony Adams was very prominent in Bella Marshall's life, and Alana was Don and Bella's only daughter, only child. And Alana Barton graduated, I think she graduated from UCLA because when Bella passed away, it was such a shock. We knew she had been a little under the weather, but internal issues, don't know exactly what happened, but it didn't matter because we were just crushed that she was gone. And Alana was I believe she was still in high school. And she went out to UCLA out on the West Coast. And we were able to keep up with her through Anthony Adams a couple of more years after that. And she's graduated, I'm sure, it's a long time ago, and practicing law or whatever field she would have wanted to go into. But that was a family of absolute geniuses. And I'll end this comment with something that a lot of folks may not remember, most of you may not know. Don Barton put funding together to open up a line of ocean liners, cruise ships. And he had one built or retrofitted, however it happened. I can't remember. And Marion and I were invited. Some other folks were invited from Welfare Rights. And I went. It wasn't a maiden voyage, but it was an opportunity to look at what he had developed. And it was called the Majestic Star. I had to look it up so I could remember the Majestic Star. And I think his name was on the side, and Bella's name might have been outside there somewhere as well. But it was a tour cruise ship. And I remember getting on it, and it was fabulous. You know, pictures of Aretha Franklin and pictures of the different Motown people and, you know, a definite Detroit theme. And all I could think of at that time is what a wonderful idea to come up with a cruise ship that would go up and down the Detroit River and maybe over, you know, the Great Lakes, or, you know, I don't know what the plans were. But it was such a fabulous idea. And I thought even at that time, how wonderful. And then Don started to get sick and then get sick and then get sick. And he passed, and then not too much longer after that, Bella made her transition as well. So I wanted to lift the name of Miss Bella Marshall, a daughter of Detroit for sure, who was so special and so independent and so wonderful, and how much every now and then I think about her and miss her so very much. Carla, you're on the air. Sorry for keeping you waiting, and we're down to our last 8 minutes. You're on the air, caller.
Well, I'm so happy that I had a chance to talk to you today.
And yes, ma'am. And hold on. Don't hang up. Hold on. Good morning, caller. You on the air? You have about a minute and a half. Go ahead.
Good morning.
And good morning.
This is Linda Wheeler with the Highland Park News. I guess I will give my minute to Gracie because I've got about 4 minutes.
Well, okay, let me talk to her. Don't hang up yet. And let's see if we can get her to give her report quickly. Then I'll come back to you.
Thank you.
Hold on. Go right ahead, Miss Gracie. You have 3 minutes.
Okay, I'll give my time to Linda, too. I don't have very much to say, but I know Linda does. I was just rushing in the house. I had errands to do this morning, and I was just trying to touch base. and say, I listened to your podcast and how much I enjoyed it. And you should tell people about the podcast.
Oh boy.
Okay, so I'll let Linda talk.
Okay, thank you, Miss Gracie. Now, let me ask you a quick question. You all are still managing vaccination shots in Highland Park, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so nothing there's changed. If a person wanted to get on the waiting list in Highland Park, do you have the number handy?
Yes, I do.
I know it's 753.
All righty. It's 313, you're right, 753 3767.
3767. 753. Say the last four again.
8767.
8767. Anybody in the listening audience that's interested in getting a vaccine and you're a Highland Park resident, call that number and let's get you lined up. Thank you, Miss Gracie.
Oh, you're quite welcome.
All
Bye-bye.
right, dear. Thank you so very much. All right, Miss Linda, your turn. What do we know and when did you know it?
Good morning, ladies. I'm sure Marion and Gracie and even you, Maureen, have already mentioned and broadcasted and made an announcement that the Highland Park Human Rights Coalition was awarded a funding from the Michigan Department of Environmental and Great Lakes and Energy on a water leak pilot program. What this means for Highland Park is that the highest homes with the plumbing leaks in their homes will receive free plumbing. 100 homes will be selected, brought in partnership with Benton Harbor. Eligible households who enroll in the pilot program will get water leak repairs at no cost and will learn tips to save on the cost of utilities. The eligibility requirements include households that have been identified by the Highland Park Water Department with high water bills and or leaks, households with at least one senior 65 and older, households with children under 18, and or households with a person who has one or more medical diagnosed disabilities. March the 15th to the 21st is Fix a Leak Week, and we here in Highland Park are kicking off that celebration by enrolling and hiring volunteer students, the 11th and 12th grades that are Highland Park residents. They will be canvassers along with the Highland Park Human Rights Coalition. We will go to the homes, drop literature and the forms to participate into the program. We're starting March the 18th at 4:30, but we will continue on throughout this summer. The young people will not only be volunteer canvassers, but they will receive a stipend and other benefits. And plus, too, they will be an ambassador on a mission that will help our community. Look out, Highland Park. We're on the way coming for you to help you with your water leaks. For further information, please call the Highland Park Human Rights Coalition at 313-753-3886. That's the Highland Park Human Rights Coalition, 313-753-3886.
And Miss Linda, make certain that I heard you correctly. Some 100 homes are going to be selected in Highland Park that have either high water bills that could possibly be connected to leaks. And those individuals in those households are going to receive free plumbing to cut down on the amount of water being wasted, water being used, and that work will be done at no cost to the owner of the property. Did I hear that right?
That is absolutely right. My mother's on the list because her water bill is just crazy. Every month, it's at least $150 or to $120.
My goodness, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
So this is wonderful pilot program that will be continued next year for other eligible homes as well. But for now, the criteria, the eligibility requirements are you must be 65 years.
Are you saying 5'5" or 6'5"?
65.
6'5", okay.
6'5". The time that you can get what is it? 65. Well, anyway, 65 years old.
Okay.
Households with children under the age of 18 and households with a person who has one or more medically diagnosed disabilities. I want to say one more thing, too, about the school board.
Go ahead.
As you know, our governor, Whitmore, has made a proclamation that today, March the 5th, through April the 19th, school boards can meet in person.
My goodness.
Now, yeah.
Okay.
Now, it's going to run until April the 19th. I had a conversation yesterday with my school board president, and I just told her flat out, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to meet in person. I still want to meet in Zoom. She agrees with me also. You have the opportunity to select either or.
That's right.
And right now, our school board, we're still going to meet with Zoom because we're not out the woods yet.
That's absolutely correct. That is the option. And I want to make certain that I wrote the number down for these households that want to get on this, help me with my plumbing list. And
I'll read it again.
You said 313-753-3886. Did I get that right?
That's correct. That's the Human Rights Coalition. And we're here for you, Highland Park. You know, we've been here since the early 2000s. We won our water lawsuit, and eventually everybody will receive credit for the high, inaccurate water bills that we received back when the plant was cut down.
Okay, well, now I know later on what happens is after we do these broadcasts, Miss Linda and Miss Gracie, people will call down to Welfare Rights and they'll say, somebody said something about Highland Park water. I didn't get it. So the number, if you want to know about the lawsuit that was settled on behalf of residents in Highland Park, all right, that number is area code 313-753-3886. And and I didn't write down the other number, and I forgot it already. Call that number, Highland Park Human Rights Coalition, and get the number to get on the waiting list for your vaccine.
I can give you her number.
Ready?
The number for the Oak Street for the Highland Park residents to receive vaccinations is 313-753-8767.
That's the number. 753-8767 if you want to get on the waiting list so that you could get your shot. All right, let's do that. Miss Gracie and Miss Linda, thank you so very much for sharing that information, and glad you got a chance to get it in, okay?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. Well, Tim, I think I'm about a minute over, which is not too bad. Folks in trouble with lights and gas, don't forget to call Wayne Metro, 388-9799, 388-9799. And that is if you need help with a light bill, a gas bill, an outstanding water bill, burial funds, back taxes, all of that. You call Wayne Metro, area code 313-388-9799. And with that, the hour went by quickly. I want to thank my original guest to bring us up about information on selling marijuana and the importance of whatnot. And between now and next Friday, the Lord is willing and the creek does not rise, I will be back, and Marion, I hope, will be here with me. Goodbye.
There's a new financial empowerment center located in the Wayne County Treasurer's office on the 5th floor of 400 Monroe in Detroit.
If you or someone you know needs help with their finances, budgeting, and making monthly payments, the Detroit Financial Empowerment Center can help.
Wayne Metro Community Action Agency has counselors ready to provide free one-on-one counseling to help you address issues related to utility bills, taxes, and other financial matters. We can also help you improve your credit score.